chosen one, take a deep breath and open your heart, for your presence here at this moment is not a coincidence, but an encounter arranged by heaven, at the precise time when the mission within you needs to be awakened. I want you to understand that no step that led you here has been meaningless. No prompting that caused you to stop and listen has been accidental, and no stirring now, rising within your heart, is without profound significance. Long ago, even before you could recognize the path you were meant to follow, a quiet preparation had already begun. Every experience, every time you rose again after being wounded, and every season when you believed you had been left behind, have all contributed to bringing you to this exact point. You were not drawn here by mere curiosity. You were led here to remember who you are, why you have endured so much, and why, in the deepest part of your being, you have always felt that you were born for something greater than what ordinary eyes can see. I know. There were days when you questioned whether you were moving in the wrong direction. You watched others advance, while you remained before closed doors, heard the laughter of the world while quietly preserving your faith, and had to comfort yourself when no one understood the battle taking place within you. But, beloved child, those delays were not rejection. They were periods I used to rebuild your foundation, heal the places that had been wounded, and make you strong enough to receive what is coming. If a great door had opened while you were still trembling before the judgments of others, you might have entered it without being able to preserve your peace. If substantial resources had been entrusted to you, before you learned to govern your emotions and choices, you might have lost yourself among the very things you once desired. Therefore, I was not withholding goodness from you. I was protecting you from receiving it too soon. Now you are standing before a new threshold, where the atmosphere surrounding your life is beginning to change. You may not yet see everything with your eyes, but within yourself, you can already feel the movement. This is why you no longer feel aligned with the old things, no longer wish to repeat the patterns that once exhausted you, and cannot return to the way of living that caused you to diminish yourself. A part of you is being awakened, urging you to step out of delay, leave fear behind, and stop seeking permission from others to become the person I have called you to be. That stirring within you is not unfounded anxiety. It is a sign that your inner order is being rearranged. What was once unclear is becoming distinct. What once caused you to hesitate is gradually losing its power, and you are beginning to recognize that you were not created to live in spiritual deprivation, mental limitation, or dependence upon the approval of others. I am leading you into a season in which delayed things will finally meet their proper timing. Not everything you once desired will return in its former form, because some of those desires have become too small compared with what is now being prepared. There were doors whose closing caused you to weep, but had they opened at that time, they would only have led you into a narrower place. There were people you begged to remain, yet their departure rescued you from continuing to sacrifice your peace. There were opportunities you believed you had missed, but in truth, they never belonged to your journey. What is coming will not require you to beg, betray your values, or live anxiously in order to keep it. What is truly meant for you will arrive with clarity, stability, and a profound sense of peace. Prepare your heart, for the prosperity I desire to give you is not limited to what can be seen or measured. I want you to prosper in discernment, so that appearances cannot deceive you, in courage, so that you do not return to places that once wounded you, in self-control, so that you do not lose yourself when you are elevated, and in gratitude, so that you always remember how you passed through your difficult days. Resources may come, opportunities may open, and recognition may appear. But your true foundation must remain in the way you guard your heart. I do not merely want you to possess more. I want you to become someone who can use what is entrusted to you to build, support, and spread goodness. Then abundance will not separate you from your pure nature, but will become a means through which you fulfill what has been entrusted to you. Therefore, do not dismiss the small changes taking place around you. An unexpected encounter, an idea that appears at exactly the right moment, an invitation that seems ordinary, or an inner prompting that causes you to begin again, may all be links within a greater order. You do not need to understand the entire road before taking the first step. What I require from you is attentiveness, faithfulness to what is right, and a willingness to release what no longer aligns with your path. Do not force doors that have already closed. Pursue people who have chosen to leave, or return to environments in which you must continually prove your worth. You were not called to beg for love, respect, or opportunity. You were called to enter places where your genuine qualities are recognized, preserved, and positioned correctly. In the days ahead, you may feel an increasingly powerful urge to reorganize your life, abandon old habits, and clear the space around you. Listen to that prompting. When a new season draws near, what is old often begins to feel restrictive. Relationships that are no longer moving in the same direction will reveal themselves. Empty promises will no longer persuade you, and the fears that once controlled you will gradually lose their voice. Do not grieve when certain things depart from your life. Sometimes the newly created space is evidence that something more suitable is preparing to enter. I do not remove things in order to leave you lacking. I clear the way so that you can receive without being pulled backward by former attachments. Beloved child, what is coming is not a distant dream or a comforting message intended merely to make you feel better for a moment. This is a reminder that your life is still being guided, even during the times when you could not feel it. The silent years did not swallow your prayers. The times you chose kindness, despite being treated unjustly, have not been forgotten. The moments when you continued walking, even though your heart was weary, created a strength within you that you have not yet fully recognized. I use the very things that seemed determined to bring you down to build within you the ability to remain steadfast before greater doors. Now move forward without carrying your old fears. Stop asking whether you are worthy, because you are not defined by the mistakes of your past. You are defined by the way you rose again, the way you learned, and the way you chose light after days of darkness. I, Michael, am here to remind you that you have not been forgotten, have not fallen outside the proper timing, and are not excluded from the good plan prepared for you. Keep your heart at peace, continue fulfilling the work before you, and do not allow a slow pace to make you doubt that movement is taking place. Certain things are advancing toward you quietly but surely. When the moment unfolds, you will understand why you had to wait, why you had to mature, and why you could not enter the new season as the former version of yourself. You have been prepared, preserved, and are now being led to the place where the mission within you will no longer remain asleep. Do not doubt yourself, simply because what I have placed within your heart is greater than what your present circumstances allow you to see. I know what it feels like to keep walking by faith, when there is no visible sign around you, confirming the promise. I know how many times you have looked at the limitations before you and wondered whether you were expecting too much, or whether the calling within you was merely a desire you had created for yourself. There have been days when what I planted within you felt heavy, not because it was wrong, but because you had not yet found tangible evidence to support your faith. You carried a great vision while your hands still held limited resources, a powerful prompting while the door before you remained closed, and a deep confirmation that very few people around you could understand. Nevertheless, beloved child, the silence of your circumstances does not mean that heaven has changed its intention. Often, what you cannot yet see is being arranged with greater care than you could ever recognize. I have gone before you for a long time, even throughout the seasons, when you believed you were feeling your way forward alone. Before you considered turning toward a new direction, I already knew where that road would lead. Before you met someone capable of helping you move forward, I had prepared that encounter through movements of which you were completely unaware. Before you faced a difficult decision, I had already seen its consequences, opportunities, and hidden dangers. Therefore, you do not need to carry the burden of understanding everything immediately. Your part is to keep your heart upright, listen for guidance in peace, and walk with wisdom. Leave the rest for me to arrange. You are not struggling to pursue some distant outcome. You are moving toward what heaven prepared in advance. The right doors will open when you are mature enough to walk through them, while unsuitable things will be withheld, even if you do not understand the reason at that moment. I also know how deeply the ridicule of others once wounded you. Some people laughed when you spoke about your dream. Some looked at where you began and concluded that you could never go far. They called you unrealistic, excessively ambitious, or unaware of your limitations, because they judged your future according to your present circumstances. They saw only what you presently possessed, not what I was building within you. They saw you standing before a closed door, but did not know that I was preparing another entrance for you. They saw the times when you slowed down, but failed to recognize that those were periods of training, purification, and increasing endurance. You do not need to argue in order to prove them wrong. Allow your growth, faithfulness, and results at the proper time to speak on your behalf. When heaven supports someone who has been prepared, no contemptuous word can prevent what has been ordained. Even so, I am not teaching you to anticipate the day when others will be humiliated. I want you to guard your heart against bitterness and the satisfaction of revenge. When those who once doubted you witness the transformation, let them encounter someone more humble, gentle, and grateful, not someone who uses achievement as a weapon. True favor does not make you arrogant. It makes you recognize how greatly you have been supported. I do not raise you higher so that you can look down upon others. I expand your influence so that you can help those who are weary rise again. I do not give you more merely so that you can possess more. I give so that you may steward, share, build, and improve the environment around you. Your success will carry its greatest meaning when it becomes a shelter, a source of hope, and a bridge that leads others out of despair. You have seen many people in the world build great enterprises through intelligence, discipline, boldness, and the ability to seize opportunities. These qualities have value, and you must also learn to work diligently, think wisely, and act responsibly. Yet what I am giving you does not depend solely upon natural ability. You may plan, conduct research, and develop your skills. But you must remember that certain turning points cannot be created through your own strength alone. There are connections that appear at precisely the right moment. Ideas that arrive with extraordinary clarity. Doors that open beyond calculation. And journeys that are shortened in ways you could never arrange for yourself. This is what happens when heaven's favor meets your obedience, when quiet preparation meets the appointed time, and when the abilities trained within you meet an opportunity that has already been reserved. Do not compare yourself with Bill Gates, Elon Musk, or any other famous person, because their paths are not the pattern designed for your calling. I did not create you to become a copy of another successful person. You have your own rhythm, responsibilities, field of service, and way of creating influence. You may not be called to build a corporation known throughout the world, but you may be entrusted with building a healthy family, a compassionate community, meaningful work, or a mission that transforms the lives of those I bring near you. Scale does not determine value. A small task, fulfilled in accordance with its purpose, can carry greater weight than an enormous undertaking built from pride. What matters is not how many people know your name, but whether what passes through your hands reflects wisdom, love, and faithfulness. I want you to work, but I do not want you to destroy yourself in order to prove that you are worthy. There is a profound difference between diligence and exhaustion, dedication and obsession, purposeful effort and running forward in fear. When you believe that every outcome depends entirely upon your own strength, you will begin pushing yourself beyond healthy limits, neglecting your peace, sacrificing your well-being, and treating rest as something shameful. But, beloved child, you were not created to live permanently under strain. You do not need to claw, compete, or trample upon others in order to advance. What belongs to you will not require you to lose your kindness in order to keep it. Achievement that comes from me will not demand your deepest peace as its price, because heaven's provision is always accompanied by guidance, order, and proper timing. When I tell you to rest in me, I am not telling you to become passive or abandon your responsibilities. Rest means doing your part without carrying fear concerning the outcome. It means preparing carefully without panicking, faithfully planting the seed without digging it up every day to inspect it, and walking through doors that have opened without attempting to break down those that remain closed. Rest means knowing that a provider walks with you, so you do not have to control every detail by yourself. You continue learning, working, correcting your mistakes, and making progress, but you do everything from a foundation of trust rather than scarcity. When your heart is at peace, you will perceive guidance that haste once concealed. You will recognize when to act, when to wait, who should accompany you, and what must be released. The invitation to rest is actually an invitation to enter a sacred partnership. I do not do everything in your place, but neither do I leave you to struggle alone. You bring obedience, and I provide guidance. You bring the skills you have developed, and I place them before the proper opportunity. You bring faithfulness in small things, and I enlarge the responsibilities you can carry. You bring a heart willing to serve, and I entrust you with people and work that need such care. Within this partnership, you no longer have to pursue your own worth, because you know that you were loved before you achieved anything. You do not need success in order to be accepted by me. Because you have already been accepted, you are able to work with freedom, creativity, and peace. Therefore, move forward without looking down upon yourself. Do not allow delay to make you conclude that the promise has lost its power. Do not allow the laughter of others to diminish what I have placed within your heart. Neither allow the desire for success to draw you away from my gentle presence. Do what is immediately before you with complete dedication. Keep your motives pure and allow me to take responsibility for the timing. You will not have to force what belongs to you. When your inner preparation meets the outward arrangement, you will see the scattered pieces begin to connect. The years that seemed wasted will become experience. Rejection will be revealed as protection, and small steps will come together to form a meaningful journey. I am going before you, working in places your eyes cannot yet see, and leading you into a future built not upon exhaustion, but upon partnership, faithfulness, and peace. A profound sign that I am preparing you to enter a new season is the way you have so frequently felt misunderstood, as though even those closest to you could not fully perceive what was quietly taking shape within you. 6. There were times when you tried to express what you were feeling and share the direction opening before you. But your words were met with silence, doubt, or eyes incapable of understanding. This was not because you had failed to explain yourself clearly enough, nor because what you carried within your heart was misguided, but because that vision extended beyond the familiar limits of people who believe only in what they can measure, compare, or immediately see with their physical eyes. There are seeds whose existence beneath the dark soil is known only by the one who planted them. To those standing outside, the ground appears empty. But to me, it is the place where a future is being nourished through patience, faithfulness, and tears no one else has seen. I know that the pain of not being understood once made you so sorrowful that you wanted to diminish your dream. At times you wondered whether you were thinking too far ahead, hoping for too much, or following a path that was too different. You wished that merely one person would believe completely, one person would see what you saw, because then the journey would have felt so much easier. But, beloved child, the loneliness of that hidden season was not punishment. It was a layer of protection placed around what was still fragile within you. Had everyone known about that seed too soon, their doubts, fear-based advice, and personal limitations might have caused you to dig it up before it had taken root. I covered what was growing within you, not so that you would suffer without purpose, but so that what I gave you would have sufficient time to mature before confronting the noise outside. It was within that silence that I taught you to distinguish genuine guidance from the need for recognition. In the past, one objection could cause you to become confused. One doubtful look could make you want to turn back, and the silence of others could make you question yourself. Yet, day by day, you began to understand that certainty does not always come from having many people agree with you. Sometimes, the right path is still the one that few people can perceive in its earliest stage. I taught you to protect what had been entrusted to you, without continually presenting it to people who were not prepared to receive it. I taught you to walk, without constantly looking back to see whether the crowd was following. I taught you to carry a great revelation with humble hands, a peaceful heart, and perseverance that did not depend upon applause. 6:33. This maturity was essential. because things capable of creating lasting influence cannot be entrusted to someone who still allows outside opinions to control every decision. If you require constant encouragement in order to continue, you will easily stop when encouragement disappears. If you believe in your direction only when others approve, you will lose it the moment their attitude changes. Therefore, I allowed you to pass through stretches of the road where affirmation was rare, so that you could learn to recognize the peaceful voice within you. When no one remained to explain things to you, you began listening more deeply. When no one guaranteed the outcome, you began building stronger faith. When no one saw your progress, you learned to continue doing what was right, simply because it was right. Those days that seemed empty created a steadfastness that praise cannot purchase and criticism cannot take away. Understand that every genuine revelation has its own appointed time to be revealed. A promise does not become meaningless simply because it has not appeared on the day you expected 654. Certain things are prepared for a particular season, and although your eyes may not yet perceive movement, time is quietly bringing every piece into its proper position. I never forget what I have placed within you, nor do I become confused about timing. When everything seems to be moving more slowly than you anticipated, it does not mean the door has closed. The hinges may be being reinforced so that the door will be strong enough to open into a greater space. Perhaps you have not yet received the answer because the answer itself requires you to become deeper, wiser, and more capable of preserving what you receive without allowing it to be wasted. Therefore, your waiting has never been a meaningless emptiness. 7. While you believed you were merely standing still, I was deepening the foundation. You may not see the roots growing, but in that hidden place where no one is watching, life is finding its way through hardened soil, anchoring itself in deeper layers, and preparing the tree to stand firmly before powerful winds. If fruit appeared too early while the roots were still weak, the weight of the harvest itself could cause the tree to fall. I love you enough not to give you something you are not yet strong enough to support. Therefore, every delay taught you patience, every closed door taught you discernment, and every rejection helped you stop placing your identity in the choices of others. These things may have appeared unrelated, but together they were forming a person of depth. The deeper your roots grow, the more you will be able to carry great things while preserving your peace. 7-9. When the results begin to appear, people will see only the branches, leaves, fruit, and outward beauty. They will not know how many dark seasons you endured without giving up. They did not hear the prayers you whispered when you no longer possessed the strength to speak aloud. They did not see the times when you wiped away your own tears and continued doing what needed to be done. But I saw everything. I saw you choose kindness even after being treated coldly. I saw you refuse retaliation when you were misunderstood. I saw you protect what was sacred rather than using it to prove that you were exceptional. Every one of those choices became another root extending deeper, making you strong enough to remain steadfast when attention, opportunity, and responsibility all arrive together. Therefore, do not become bitter toward those who never understood you. They could only see according to the level of awareness they possessed. You do not need to force them into a vision I have not yet opened for them to see. Forgive the words that wounded you, but do not return to ask their permission to continue your journey. You can love without dependence, Listen without losing discernment, and keep your heart gentle while still protecting what has been entrusted to you. Not everything I tell you must be announced immediately. Some plans grow more powerfully when preserved in silence. Some dreams need to be nourished by discipline more than by storytelling. When the right people appear, you will not need to struggle to explain yourself. They will recognize the value of what you carry through the peace, consistency, and results flowing from your life. Beloved child, the season of being misunderstood is not your ending. It is merely the preparation room in which I am making your voice clearer, your steps steadier, and your faith independent of the crowd. What you have been waiting for is still moving toward you, but before it appears, you must understand that not a single one of your days has been wasted. Silence taught you to listen. Loneliness taught you to stand firmly. And waiting caused your roots to anchor themselves deeply in what cannot be shaken. Continue walking with composure. Do not dig up the seed merely because you have not yet seen the sprout. Do not abandon your position merely because others do not understand why you are there. I am preserving the timing, perfecting you, and arranging what your eyes cannot yet see. When the season of revelation arrives, you will understand that every moment of being misunderstood contributed to making you strong enough to carry what once existed only within your vision. Listen carefully to me. You were not chosen because of coincidence, good fortune, or favorable circumstances, but because of a sacred intention placed upon your life before you understood who you would become. That calling is not based upon your background, education, the achievements you can describe, or the recognition of the world. Neither did it come because you are more perfect than others. You were called because the Most High saw within you an ability that even you have often failed to recognize. The ability to remain standing after being wounded, to learn again after failure, and to carry blessings without allowing them to make your heart proud. What has been placed upon you is not a reward for someone who has never stumbled, but a responsibility entrusted to someone willing to be shaped. Therefore, stop asking why you were chosen. Begin asking how you must mature so that you can preserve what is being prepared for you.